Being stranded on this island in Minecraft comes with a big challenge: limited resources. Blocks like dirt, sand, and clay, which are abundant in normal worlds, are limited in supply here. Luckily for me, I have the Create mod. To keep transforming this island, I need to set up farms to produce these resources and more. Today, I'm taking on the challenge of building 8 farms to ensure I never run out of the materials I need. If you end up enjoying the video, consider subscribing so you don't miss future episodes, and if you find this interesting, leaving a like really helps me out a ton. And the first farm I want to work on today is our wool farm, along with an addition to the farming region. I've got some pretty big plans for this part of the island that I definitely want to start with soon. But we've got to start with something, and I want to start with making the farm itself. Getting used to the new storage here, and this farm is actually quite simple, although we're definitely going to need some more gold and more iron. First up being the gold farm, as it's the one furthest away. Just gotta head on in here, hit that button, hop into the elevator, and I don't think I've been here since I actually built the farm, but do we have any gold? Oh, we definitely do. How much gold do we have? Oh, that's a good amount, actually. I won't be needing this much. I'll drop a bit back in here, but nice to see it working. And, ooh, a lot of dead bushes. I'm going to grab 2 of those while I'm here. Then, on our way back to the workshop, taking a quick detour past the iron factory, grabbing a couple of stacks of iron. Putting this iron to work straight away, as we need to create at least 60 minecarts. We need 19, actually. Also gonna need to craft up a couple of hoppers, turning 30 of these minecart into hopper minecarts. Then, since we've already made a couple of minecarts, we need to first of all make some detector rails. You'll see why in a little bit. And then we need to make a bunch of powered rails. I'm talking a good few stacks here. We're also gonna need a handful of redstone components for this, as it's not a fully create powered farm. We'll do a little bit of create in it, but definitely not a lot. I also need a fair amount of dispensers, so I'm hoping a stack of wool will be enough string. Oh, that should be enough. Definitely. Let's see. Yeah, we'll need 16 of these, as there's 16 dyes in the game. And just to craft these up. Yeah, crafting dispensers is not the most fun thing in Minecraft. But we do have our 16 now, throw in our box. And yeah, a fair amount of string left over. Now it's just our storage solution left to go, with a couple of create components to craft on down. Throw in those final things in the box there, and we got one more component to make. And first being pressing that up, and then this is my only deployer, so we're gonna put cogwheels in there for now. And no, that's the output chest. This is the input. We need to start making some precision mechanisms. Well, this not being on 1 is actually making this a little more annoying, but that's fine. It's still not bad. All right, hopefully one of these make it. I really hope one of them do. Come on. Both. Nice. We'll have an extra one. Perfect. But what I want to do with this is, of course, grab ourselves a brass ingot. We'll stuff the other one away for now. Then just any log will do. Place it down, turn it into a brass casing. Heading into our crafting table and crafting up our first rotation speed controller. It's going to be really nice not to have to gear ratio everything. Transporting the materials down into the back of my boat to head across the cove to the farming region. But before we start building the farm itself, we need to find a couple of sheep. And I imagine there'd be a few here, but it actually doesn't look like it. We got the pink sheep over there, but I don't know if I want to use that guy. He's kind of survived a lot, traveling with the cows and everything. So instead, we probably gotta head back across the cove to, of course, kidnap a couple of sheep and pull them back across. I already have 4 different colors back there, so we don't need that many more. Okay, we gotta check that out. We gotta secure the sheep. Oh, I feel it. This is it. That has spruce in it. Quickly. I mean, I know it's not going to despawn, but I, don't want to risk anything. Oh, oops, sorry. Quickly just breed these so that the babies can grow up, ready for us to farm. And, oh, yes. I've been waiting for it. He's even swimming towards me. This is it. This is the one. It wasn't the one. And he stole my boat. Huh, what was that? Must have been a weird dream. We were working on the wool farm, right? Yeah. We're gonna start off with the collection system. And this is gonna be run by some of those hopper minecarts we crafted earlier. We'll place some redstone torches right here on the edge. Get some blocks above these, of course, for them to turn back around. And of course, the rails are being a little bit painful when it comes to placing them down. We'll also start thinking about the output here. Want to just run a hopper line out of this. Then we're gonna use some polished deep slate slabs with a little backdrop of some deep deep slate. Temporary rails right up here. Gonna run these one more block forward, then some detector rails right here, getting us a slope. This can just go up a block, then we'll head down here, extend out some deep slate there, and right here. Now with the minecarts traveling along here, we're gonna take some comparators to check if they have any items in them. We're then gonna run those into some redstone torches, into some blocks, even more redstone torches, more blocks, into repeaters, into some grass blocks, which currently are dirt, which will have some redstone torches on them. The floor of the farm will go right here, and the final thing of this unloading system is just a couple of fence gates. Now, if you want to build this farm yourself, it's actually very simple and really efficient, and it's made by a guy named Borkon, and I'll leave a link to his video in the description. I brought along a bit of dirt with me. I don't think it's going to be quite enough, but we'll get started with it. And usually when I've built wool farms in the past, I've always put the sheep in a 1x1 and let the grass below them just regrow before they can eat it again. But this works a little differently, and with the minecarts we crafted up earlier to give the sheep more options to eat, which makes it a lot more efficient. But it's also a slightly bigger footprint. Getting another line of redstone torches in here on the back side. Same principle here as right below, just using some grass to make, well, the grass in the farm regrow faster. And then it's just powered rails going out from these. Oh, well, not here. Starting here. Over on this other side is where we put in our dispensers, which will be doing the actual shearing. Finishing up the rails here with a slope up to the dispenser, and it's nearly ready to put the sheep in. We just need a little retainer wall right over here. Actually, can I get grass? I can with the silk touch axe. Okay, that's gonna speed this up a little bit at least. I'm not gonna mine the entire platform again, but I will add in a few splashes of grass blocks up here already, just to help, well, the growing of the grass move along a little bit. But while we wait for the grass to regrow and before we can encase it, we need to actually get the sheep in there, and obviously we need a few more colors. Hoping we have everything in the storage to just craft these dice, or might already have some of them. Oh yeah, definitely a good few in here. Looks like we're actually only missing 4. One of them being super easy, as this gets us our lime dye. Let's see. Dandelions get ours are yellow, and then we just need a red dye source. Any beetroots? Nope, not by the looks of it. Just crush that down real quick. Allows us to create our pink dye, and the only one missing now is the magenta, which is just 2 red, white, and a blue. Just like that. Back over in the farming region, putting these dyes to use, moving the sheep I bred up into the farm, giving them their very own minecart and unique color. With the sheep in place, I can encase the farm in dirt to help regrow the grass under the sheep even faster. Finally, to complete the farm, we got to sort out our storage solution. With that, there's only 2 things left to do before we can actually get the farm up and running. First one being putting shears into the chests, or the dispensers, not chests, which is instantly going to cut them. Perfect. It's a little loud, but that's fine. We're not going to be down here too often. I actually decided to just muffle it because that was getting really obnoxious, but now we have at least 2 shears in there. Let's actually get 2 more in each of them because I have another stack of iron here, so I might as well use it. Currently, all of our wool should just be sitting in these hoppers right here. Yep, they definitely are. So let's just grab a rotation speed controller, large water wheel, and cog. Quickly just join some water, and then we just have to extend this out from here, adding in our cog wheel, speed controller, and finally the water wheel, which can spin really anyway. And then we just have to make sure that those are moving upwards and speed it up. Oh, now they're moving downwards. This should now just drop them on the deep state right here, and we'll have to actually make them sort. Or not. Yeah, there they are. Oh, right. I don't even have the funnels in. Whoa. Looks like the farm is working really well. We're actually already getting a fair bit of wool. Oh, this is gonna be so much nicer than having to shear sheep every time I need something. While the farm is working great, it's not looking great, and I really want to use bone blocks for the shepherd's building that will cover this. Only issue with that being that I have 50 bone meal to my name, which, well, gets us 5 measly bone blocks. But of course I have a plan to fix this, because in the last episode we found this very conveniently placed skeleton spawner, and I also know where there is a second skeleton spawner that I want to bring up here to make a dual skeleton spawner farm to get me more bones in this world, because I'm always running out of them, but also more importantly I'd say experience, because well, my tools aren't the best yet and they're definitely getting quite low, and I do want to, you know, enchant, so that'll be a perfect second farm to build. Already done a bit of material gathering for this farm, and I want it to be another sort of monolithic structure. So grabbing some deep slate, stone, cobblestone, and tuff. Heading over to the stone cutter to cut this down into a bunch of different blocks. Fills this second barrel up here really nicely with the first one. And before we bring the materials out here, it's not really far from the storage, we should probably do a bit of digging. Because not only do we need to dig out the space for this first spawner, but we also need to dig out space for another one. Got this little segment here in the middle of them dug out as well. We just need to move the spawner into this one, but we'll do that in just a minute here. First, I want to get in a window to look at them. Using a polished tuff here as a border, and then I'm thinking using tinted glass here in the middle, just so that we don't let in any light. And also this lever out here will deactivate the light in there, but I don't want to switch that off yet because, well, they would spawn on this side and probably come up here. It's a very, very simple farm though. It's just a vanilla design because in my opinion, there's not much you can do to, well, improve on it. At least not if you want to use it to get XP. Before we continue just getting in the details up there, let's actually get the storage in. I'm thinking just some hoppers right here, and we're going to start on a vault, and I guess break into the back here, add a brass funnel, and we'll just filter this to not throw out bones, or no, yeah, not to throw out bones. Hopefully I don't drop any of my tools in there, because then they probably go bye-bye. That's just to burn items that we don't want. Then we're gonna do 2 hoppers on the backside right here, running into a, well, sitting on a power rail, where we'll use a minecart hopper, and then grab in some chisel tuff. We get a chisel tuff bit there, then some tough bricks on the side, and we can run down some polished tuff from the ceiling. For these side panels here, we're going to be moving the skeletons up. We'll use some copycat panels to cover that. We'll do the same right here in the middle. For the sides, I think we can do tinted glass all the way. Maybe a special tough brick there. 3 of those and another special on that one though. Actually, maybe might be worth just changing that on these 2 then. Yeah, I think that looks good. Just a few final bits and bobs here to match the library and finish up the interior. I think we'll get back to the outside because I kind of want to make this actually functional. There's 2 things we need to do to make that happen, and the first one being to first of all connect this down into there, clean it up just a little bit, and then we can continue this up with stone. This is where the part I'm a little worried about comes into play, where we have to extend these, well, above the terrain. Since this spawner is so high up, we're actually going to be, well, poking out of the side of the mountain. I think I've got a good idea on how... Oh, my heart. Oh. Moving past that scare, finishing up the water towers. Definitely looking a little ugly right now, but well, we'll hopefully fix it soon. For now, though, let's get that second spawner. So we're gonna need a little bit of redstone, 2 minecarts. I accidentally made a few more earlier. A little bit of cobblestone, a few logs, and I should have a little bit of andesite alloy. Yep, right there, so that we can craft up a cart assembler, furnace to make a furnace minecart, and that should be everything we need. We, of course, also need a ton of rails. Probably more than this, or I'm overestimating. Well, we'll see. Down in the caves, I think I remember where this is. We're just gonna head down through this little one here, through this little hole, hook a left through into this cave, which brings us over to the other cave system. Now, is it up here? No, it's down here. Yep, through this open area. I think it's at the end of this tunnel. Yep, here it is. It's the skeleton spawner. Yep, I grabbed everything. There's a zombie spawner close by too, but I don't really care about that. All I really care about is, well, this. So we'll get our cart assembler in. Oh, right. We need to place that on a track. We're going to want to move in that direction. So we'll just place it in for now. And we'll actually add the torches on the side for a little bit, as I don't want to break the redstone lamp. We'll come back and get that on the minecart itself. For now, let's just start digging upwards. I've got a rough idea of where I should come out from this. It's got to get to minus 180. Looks like we're about to pop through. Not exactly where I thought it was gonna happen, but I'll take it because this is not gonna be hard at all. Just to reroute a little bit. If I could just figure out how to make a staircase that can take rails. We'll start the track somewhere here, and now we gotta work our way down into the caves again. And, well, yeah, that water cave I dug through. Luckily, we won't need to push this guy up, because that would have been really painful. But if we get the minecart in there, redstone torch here on this side, minecart with a furnace right there, put some power into that, and then we'll now travel up across the rail out to the surface to where the track ends. Then just mine into the room. We're gonna bring this down just a couple of blocks here. Let's see. Minecart's gonna be on this level. No, we want it down one more. So it can come through here. Grab a few more rails. Cart assembly there. That should drop it off. I'm just gonna add one block here on the back in case it doesn't. Because I don't want it to go flying down into the water. Let's just nudge this in. Goes down. Puts the skeleton spawner in place. And we can clean up this. We should be able to actually take away the torches without anything happening, as we have the redstone lamp, of course. And then just destroy the tracks behind us here. I left them in the ground further down because, well, maybe we want to bring another spawner up to the surface at some point, and that could be handy. Patch the hole up real quick into that, and I think we're ready. Well, I need a sword. An iron one will do. Let's just flip that lever, turning that off. Oh, there's a hole in the other one too. Oopsies. But if we just stand here, we should see some skeletons travel on up or fall down soon. We might have missed them already. Oh, there's one. And here he is. That's amazing. It should be a pretty steady force of skeletons. So with the farm now functional, let's sort out the ugly tower outside. Going with the monolithic style I said earlier, creating more of a shrine this time with a little sword engraved on the side. I'm not 100% sold on it just yet, but I do think it looks pretty good, and I'm in. Head on inside, flip the lever up here, and, well, the sword part makes sense, right? As much as an XP source and, well, bone source is great, we still have the problem that I don't have any mending. Or, well, we do, but what I failed to notice in the last episode is that my mending book also has Curse of Vanishing on it. Looks like I'll be fishing for the next 30 minutes to fix that little oversight. And hey, while I'm trying to catch something that won't disappear, why not make sure this channel sticks around your feed? Hit that subscribe button and keep it from vanishing. And this is how it's looking after those 30 minutes, so let's check this. Nothing good, still nothing good, nothing good. And this one was a earlier book. Yeah, there really wasn't anything of use. That really sucks. I guess we'll take this back to the mainland. And, oh, we should probably go name the fishing rod. I forgot to do that. For the fishing rod name, I've decided to go with Fish Stick from SC Predmage. No, I didn't even pronounce that, but thank you for the suggestion. And I also asked in the last episode for an axe name and decided to go with Good Guy's suggestion of Axe Sparrow. There was a lot of suggestions for Wilson and I was close to naming it that, but I got this reference a little better, so thank you for that suggestion. With that sorted, let's get started on the material gathering for the Shepherd's building. I think a good place to start with the material gathering for the Shepherds will be the bone meal farm, since, well, the whole reason we built this, at least almost, is because we need a bone box for the walls. Standing here for a little bit now, and we have, okay, no, I thought we had 33 bones for a second there. Adding a crafting table. How many stacks of bone blocks does this get us? Not even a full. Okay, let's change up our plan a little bit then. I should have a couple of diamonds laying around. Craft up a diamond sword. Wanted to make a quick stop by the tent just to see. Okay, we have looting 2. That's not great. We, of course, have the mending book that I do want to use on this sword, because I'm not going to be using this outside of the mob farm, so this might as well have the Curse of Vanishing on it, because I really shouldn't die with it. Backup plan then is to enchant this with looting 3 instead. So let's grab a couple of books and let's roll some trades. Ooh, looting 2. I think we should take that. So we'll spend a little more time in the skeleton grinder to get up to level 30. With us back at level 30, let's enchant that diamond sword with looting 2. Only getting that, that's not too good, but we can slap on our looting 2 book on that, getting ourselves looting 3, and then putting mending and Curse of Vanishing on that, we get a okay sword for the farm. With a new sword, giving the skeleton grinder another run for its money, this time taking far less time to stock up the bones. Just gotta make sure to put the sword away whenever I'm leaving here, but we should have enough bone now. It's not quite enough to just craft down, but I did remember that we can, of course, use the crushing wheels. They should give us roughly 25% more bone meal, and I'm really hoping this gets us enough. Also gets us a lot of white dye. Holy. But crafting that into bone blocks, let's see how many we can get. Looks like I've got just enough. How much terracotta do we have? Ooh. That's not a lot. We should probably set up a clay farm later today, but for now, let's head out and see what we can scavenge up around the island. Buying the clay was taking ages, so instead turned the gold farm into a temporary terracotta farm and currently chopping wood to use for the build while waiting for the terracotta. Back at the workshop with our terracotta. Don't have too many dyes at hand right now, although I do have a ton of white and black dye down here from crushing different items up. First of all, I'm going to need to create already 4 stacks of white terracotta and even a couple of extra. Craft up a bit of light gray dye. Don't need as much of this, but I do still need stack. I was about to make gray terracotta, but I actually want brown, so crushing up a bit of cocoa powder, a few cocoa beans, I mean, and then we can craft that into brown terracotta. Then just have to take all of the wood supplies we just gathered up and craft that into the different bits and bobs. Just throwing in the rooted earth here, and that completes the material nearly. I think it's time to also retire the fortune pickaxe for a bit, as I've already enchanted a new one with efficiency 4, so we'll be using that for a while. But let's grab a bunch of cobblestone and head over to the nether portal to pop into the nether. And yep, right over here is a warp forest. I think I have a crimson forest that way, but I actually don't need any crimson, just the warped wood for now. Turns out we didn't need the cobblestone at all because this was super accessible, and I don't think I need too much of this today, but let's definitely gather up a bit. This stack in a bit should be enough, so let's head on back to the storage where we can craft this down into some slabs and planks. And before we strip this by hand, I'd actually want to try something. If I give this deployer an axe, I doubt this will work, but no. Gotta use the saw. Or could also actually use this. Resources moved over to the wool farm. We can finally get to work on constructing the shepherd's home in what will eventually become a village. First off, working on the foundation of the house and the terrain around it. Placing the first blocks of a new path, as well as building up a chimney along the back. Moving on to the walls of the house, I'm starting off with a mud brick trim before coming in with the bone blocks mixed with terracotta to construct the main portions of the walls. I actually streamed designing this house over on my Twitch, where you can catch behind the scenes work, both in creative and survival, link in the description. With the quick plug out of the way, I'm up on the roofs working above the barn section, using deep slate as a trim while filling in the main portions with a dark oak brown terracotta mix. Finishing that up with a roof lining using dark oak gates. Then jumping up to the house portion's roof and filling that in using the same style, only difference being 2 attic outcroppings to make the roof a little more interesting. I want this house to be the first in the eventual village, which is why I added in an extra foundation on the opposite side of the road, where I'm just building up a little tower in the exact same style as the rest of the building. To complete this build, a little gatehouse between the two structures. Thought the build was missing a splash of color, which is why I grabbed the warped wood earlier, now putting that to use to create the walls before finishing the entire build off with a deep slate roof over the gate. It definitely sticks out a little bit with the warp, but I don't think it looks that bad. Of course, the island kind of ends here, but I've actually decided that it will probably continue on with some custom terrain work and probably go all the way out to, well, at least the far end of this, maybe a little further, just so that I have enough space to actually build the farming slash fishing village I want to build out here. I also want to today continue and connect this path up to the one right over there. We eventually have to change that out to, well, the new style, which I really like. But the problem with this path is it requires a lot of mud, which is very annoying to craft. Not to mention the fact that I need to repair my shovel before I can do any more terraforming, so we'll be back as we need to start material gathering for the remaining farms. First thing I want to start with is definitely going to be copper, and that's not a lot. So let's take a quick trip into the caves here and see if we can find a little more. grabbing what we already have in storage. Looks like we were able to make at least a stack of blocks here. Crafting those into blocks, and we can head on outside, as I won't need to age all of these, but I probably will just in case. Like usual, my chests are empty of wood, so while waiting for the copper to oxidize, let's cut down a variety of trees for the first city block. That's right, I think I've decided that this town will actually become a city. But back at the storage in what will become the eventual city, throwing this back into storage. And magically in these barrels down here appears the wood resources we need. Next up, let's tackle our stone needs, and I want to first of all look through my storage and see what we already have and can craft. Didn't quite have all the stone materials on hand, so heading down the cave to first mine up some diorite. Only needed a little bit of that, so I'm on to the next stone type with deep slate, gathering a few stacks of this before swapping yet again to finish clearing out this tough pile. Stone boxes are looking pretty good now too, and I'm hoping with all of this material gathering done, so is the copper here on the outside. Back up at the storage, if we grab 4 honeycomb, we should be able to wax all of these. As if we just head on down to the deployer, put the weather copper in here. This is actually a free way to wax your copper using create. Then taking this waxed copper, turning it into a few cut copper blocks, cut copper stairs, and a ton of cut copper slabs. We pretty much only have create components left now, but I do want to take a quick break and get my shovel repaired and also get a silk touch pickaxe. And I'm only at level 3, so let's spend a bit of time in the skill grinder. Level 30 achieved, so we can do one of our enchants. I do want to do 2 of them. Grabbing our pickaxe and giving that silk touch and efficiency perfect. Now just to roll a few trades to get a silk touch enchantment on the shovel as well. Oh, there we go. Silk touch, and we're down to 15 levels. Back up to level 30. I'm back in the library. Let's get our shovel enchanted with silk touch, and then we can combine that with our old shovel to repair it. At least it's almost repaired. With the tools sorted, let's finish off the material gathering, and that consists of running around in the workshop, crafting up all of the different create components I'm going to need to make this 6-in-1 factory. Materials moved out here to the courtyard, and of course where we're going to be building the city block is in between the iron and workshop. To get us started, I've grabbed a bit of deep slate here, and I want to start at the end with making the storage building. And since we're going to be making 6 different items in this factory, the storage has to be quite big. From this foundation, taking a mix of stone blocks to create the walls of the storage. These walls are also the main reason behind me wanting that silk touch pickaxe, as I wanted to bring in some coal ore into the texture. The building is quite grayscaled at the moment, and a little color never hurts. So for the roof, I'm using weathered copper, unwaxing a few of them, which should eventually oxidize them into fully oxidized, adding in a bit of texture. Finishing the structure off with a few chimneys. My current vision is some sort of a small little courtyard here in the middle with another building here, and then having our entrance into that somewhere over here. We'll figure it out. For now, let's focus on the storage. I've got a bunch of vaults made up and a few other components, and I'm just going to start in the back corner here, getting that first 2 in. Of course, we're going to be using 30 by 3 vaults, maybe adding in a little bit of extra support here in the back, as I mean, imagine these would be pretty heavy. To output items from these, I actually need some barrels. All I'm thinking we'd do is a barrel under here and then a chute leading into there. I don't really want the depot, since a lot of these items are stuff I'm going to need bulk of, so I want to be able to grab a lot at the same time and for it to refill quite fast. This is of course only 2 of the outputs, and well, we're going to have 6 in total, so let's mark out the spaces for a few more vaults in here. Getting those extended in. Got the same output thing sorted for all of these and the back girder. So let's head on top for the input. What I'm envisioning is just a chute leading into all of the vaults. And we're going to do gravel and sand right over here. Then pairing up mud and dirt in the middle. For the final 2 doing clay and our terracotta. When it comes to the belt of all of this, we obviously need to split the main one off right here at the end. If we just go ahead and extend that out 1 block on this side, we can bring out our gearboxes, and using just 2 of them right there, all of that should spin. This belt will of course carry on across the room, but we're not quite done over here just yet, as we're gonna need a brass tunnel, filtering off clay on this side and terracotta here, and then just making a quick list filter, putting those items in there on the deny list. And of course, if we do ever shoot any items in that are overflow, that will just be flung out, and maybe I'll put a fire down there to burn it. I guess while we are over here, I should also add in the threshold switch and link. This is just going to be set to probably 90% and then start back up on 25. That's perfect. On top of this, with the redstone link, then bringing out black dye, and this was the terracotta one. Yep, just like that. With that replicated on the 5 other vaults, this is the storage building actually completed. Definitely the simplest one though. So let's get started on the actual factory part by, of course, clearing away a little bit of terrain. Even got a floor in, and we're gonna start with the first step of this entire factory, and that's of course going to be our cobblestone generator. It's gonna be quite a big one and probably quite laggy until I update to Create 6.0, when this should get a lot more lag friendly, but I'm not really using anything fancy for this. I just want a clutch to turn the drills off. Then we're gonna stack up some encased chain drives, get one going out, and this is where we're gonna have our drills. I'm gonna bring in a bit of polished deep slate under these and above them as well. And up here, because I forgot, some stone stairs and copycat panels. We're gonna get the stone stairs in right here. Probably should have used another type of stair, but yeah, it's fine. We're not gonna be down here that often. Outside of this is where we're gonna have our panels, just to border that in and make sure that the water doesn't go anywhere. Water which has been added, just stretching one more deep slate line across up here, and I think it's ready for lava. Before we do that though, we should probably just finish hooking everything up, where we need to connect this belt up to this one, and I think we're going to use a vault to do this, bringing items in right over here and right here, I guess. This is of course the basement level of this factory, so we're going to need to bring the items up, and I'm thinking just an encased fan will do this for us. And to bring the items into this chute, we bring out another shaft and belt right here, bring out our first brass funnel going out, and that will just go straight into there. Got all that hooked up, and this is just gonna go up and above ground, probably to the second story, as I think I want to build a dirt farm in the first story of this building, and that requires a bit of space. Before we continue though, let's get the lava sorted, and I don't have a lot of buckets on me, but we do need to head back to the storage anyways. Let's grab 16 buckets. We're gonna probably have to make 2 or 3 trips, but if we just place this right under here, we have, whoa, 500 lava buckets. Okay. Oh, it's full even. I guess I've been doing material gathering for a while. Getting this lava in here, and it should start to generate our cobblestone at least. No, I don't need sources, but I mean, with the 500 lava buckets I have, I don't think there's any reason to not. This is pretty much the basement done, but of course we want to start bringing in some walls as well. And let's get the entrance just extended up 1 block, because I want the entrance here on the outside. Then using some tough and mossy cobblestone, we can start to build the actual walls themselves up. With that done, let's grab a few dark oak blocks. Let's extend in a dark oak floor slash roof here. Shouldn't have to worry about lighting anything up downstairs since we got all the lava down there. And this is actually starting to look really, really cool, because I extend this little staircase down here on the side where you can walk up onto the port, and it kind of adds this new level to the city, which I just think is really, really cool. But let's continue on the factory, where we're gonna start the dirt farm. I'm gonna use pretty much the same design I used on my Skyblock world a few months back, and it all relies around a gantry system. I just need to add in an overflow right over here, and I guess an activation for the gantry. Other than the little mechanism to power it, this farm is actually quite simple. We're just gonna get a few deployers in right over here, going across. On the upside, we'll go 2 blocks up, and then we'll get our mechanical drills in. 1 layer above the drills, we get some blocks for a bunch of plows to sit on, which will be turning coarse dirt into regular dirt, which we're then mining. And the whole reason why this farm works is because the recipe to create coarse dirt dirt only requires 2 dirt, but if you right click on coarse dirt with a hoe or run a plow over it, you turn it into dirt, and therefore we get 4 dirt back, and it's a loop, and that's how we get more and more and more, and eventually infinite dirt. Who doesn't like infinite dirt? It means I can do a lot of terraforming. Just gonna add in a few filters on this just in case, so that we only place the coarse dirt, and we need glue. Oh, and an output barrel. It's actually gonna play quite a big role in this entire machine. We'll place it right here, I think. Join that and make sure all of it is glued up. And actually, I think this is the first contraption I made in this world, I guess, besides the spawner we did earlier. This is going to get its power from the back here from the mechanisms on the second floor, but we'll just extend that up to that point for now. But the dirt farm isn't quite done, as we are still only turning coarse dirt into dirt. We're not actually making any coarse dirt just yet. Add in a few belts over here to get us started with, and we're going to have an output funnel here, which is going to hook up to that barrel. Dirt is going to run along, come to this brass tunnel, which is going to be forced to split, sending 32 this way, and this will go into storage and also create our mud. On this side, it's also going to export 32, which I don't have a vault on me. 32, which is going to go into this vault, and then we need to bring this into a crafter, which could sit out here. Yeah, 2 blocks is perfect, as we run 1 belt in right there, and I'm just confusing my brain. We need another one going just like, yeah, there we go. Brass funnels inputting here, and no, actually not brass funnels, andesite funnels inputting and brass funnels outputting, as we actually need to set these up to only export 16. Just hooking up the power, and now we can focus on getting gravel into here. We're gonna need to get gravel into this bottom one, so let's use a hopper for that. Shoots above that, and I guess just shoots above this. This gravel will come from the second floor farms and just compile into this vault and then flow on down. Don't need to do anything fancy there, as we're gonna have excess of gravel for sure. And all we need to do to actually finish this off now is just gonna be adding in a threshold switch on the bottom of this deep slate here. Then this needs to be filtered to only coarse dirt, and we'll set up a redstone link here on the side with our pink dye. This one's actually gonna be very, very specific, as when this box is empty, it's not gonna power, but when it has 30% coarse dirt, it will send a signal, because when this has 3% coarse dirt, it means that a stack of coarse dirt has been deposited into this barrel, which will power this gear shift for, let's say, I think 4 seconds should be good enough. 3 might actually do it. That's gonna then take the entire contraption, move it to this position, place all of the dirt down, and then once this timer runs out, it will go back forward and mine all of the dirt, and the cycle repeats. But that is the dirt farm complete, so let's get a couple of walls extended up around this. And with a roof on that, it's looking pretty good as the 4th building in the city. Don't mind the giant hole. We'll get to that when we build the building where I'm standing right now. I want to feel like I'm actually making some strides towards completing the city block and the farms. So I want to actually hook up the first few things to the storage. We're going to be running this belt along and into this building, as my vision is having one central belt that brings everything into the storage, and whenever, well, something is completed, it just get put on that belt. So with that belt in this building, let's actually get started on the cobblestone and sand farm. Not only are these output farms, but they're very, very essential to all of the other items that we're going to be making in this farm. And so I'm splitting the cobblestone right away, and I'm falling through barrels. Okay, well, barrels. I'm falling through belts. Cobblestone's going to be coming out right here and being split off, then running into 2 different belt lines, where if we bring out some gearboxes, shafts, and crushing wheels, we can get the gravel generator in on this side by just using one of them. Then over here, of course, we're going to be making cobblestone into gravel first of all, but then of course crushing this one more time to get ourselves our sand. A few more components in this room. Completing the first 2 items of this farm, sand and gravel. And it got a little messy, but that's fine, right? I had plans to make this pretty, but those plans kind of flew out the window quite fast. So let's look past that and work towards finishing this city block factory. I realized it was a lot easier to build the farm before the structure around it, and we still have 3 items to automate from this factory. Clay was easy enough, just washing the sand and splitting this clay, sending some into storage and the rest into a basin to be compacted into blocks, which are smelted into terracotta, finishing up 5 out of 6 items. Final item is mud, which we get by splitting incoming dirt and mixing it with water. With the components in for all 6 items, I want to begin covering the final bit by building up a deep stay foundation. On top of this foundation for the walls, using a bamboo yellow to green palette for one part and a tan palette with birch, sand and bone blocks for the second segment. To finish off this building, slapping on a simple stone roof with a few green tones and deep stay chimneys. Then to fully integrate the build into the city and connect all of the current houses up, bringing in a cobblestone road and a bit of terrain. The cobblestone is temporary as I want a few more buildings in before deciding where I want to take the roads in the city and what exact palette I want to use. But I've got to say, with the building and the roads in, this is actually starting to feel, well, more like a city. We don't have to look too much past over that way, but if we're walking through this part, it's starting to come together. Definitely a few more things to touch up on to actually make this entrance good, and of course, well, fixing the roads, but we're probably most likely going to be doing the texturing here as well, so we'll get to that. That's a future stand problem. But heading back to the courtyard of this factory, which is also a view that I really like, we have one final little thing to put in here with display board and some display links. I actually haven't used these in ages, so I thought it'd be pretty fun to just bring a few in here to, well, let us know what we have in storage. Now all I think I need to do is, well, first of all, make a way up here, and then if I click that, will I have to go back for every single one? We'll see. Click this to here. No. 1,000 years later. And well, speaking about power, we should probably get that hooked up. And this has me a little afraid because according to my calculations, and if they're correct, we're gonna need about 50,000 SU to power this factory. That's quite a lot. And I mean, we could do 100 water wheels, but I think now that we have the wool farm, we might set up a couple of windmills. I haven't crafted these in a while because I find them to be probably the worst source of SU, but when you don't really have SU and you need a lot of it, they do come a little in handy. And I think we'll be able to get, yeah, 8,192, which means 6 of them should be enough. Boulder across the cove over to the wool farm, where I definitely don't think we're gonna have enough wool of any color to make all 6 windmills, but I'm hoping to get at least, this is gonna be a color mismatch. This is gonna be great. It's gonna be great. See, oh, we got a pink one. What will the final one be? We'll do green. Wait, no, that's only 5. And black. What a combo. Back over on the factory side, let's get a bunch of terrain here cleared out underneath. Excavation done. Let's bring in our colorful windmill sails and not think too much about the fact that they are in an underground hole with not the slightest breeze even hitting them. And for anybody wondering, the windmills and most of the water wheels are completely temporary. Once we get a steam engine up and running in this world and I update the crate 6.0 and we get the chain conveyors, my hope is to run everything off of one network, so I'll at least disable them. Can't promise I'll clean up the wool though. But for now, all we need to do is hook this up, so I'm gonna grab some of those and we gotta get a rotation speed controller. Really hope that this is enough SU now. It should though. It really should. If I'm not mistaken, I should have a speed controller or precision mechanism left over, and I do. We just grab a brass ingot then and just a log, turning that into a casing, putting that in the table and getting our second rotation speed controller in this world. I think I'm gonna make my life quite simple here and just get some shafts on top of these and then run mechanical belts. That's a lot cheaper than running encased chain drives. Let's see. Now we think about this. Let's put our large cogwheel right here and rotation speed controller underneath. Then all I should need is a gearbox right on that. Shaft here, going up. Let's get a belt on that already. Run on over here and connect that up. And theoretically, that should be it. Oh god, wait, okay. One was actually enough to power Whoop. Oh, we've fallen. On low RPM, that is. Let's get the rest of these spinning. And to access this... Wait, let's actually check that it's all spinning the right way first. By the looks of it, it is perfect. Let's then up the speed on this. Okay, didn't overstress. That's good sign. Oh, okay. We're gonna definitely have to do some optimization to that, but that's fine. Everything is going in there. It's not going up though, is it? There must be something missing down here. Yeah, that'd be a shaft right here. Okay. This is super exciting. If you run on in here... How's it looking up top? I can't get up. Right, the dirt farm actually won't be active right now. It will just sit right there. So we can actually just do a little bit of temporary scaffolding here to get on up and see if everything is working. Oh, we're having gravel come through. Okay, that's great. That is a great... We're having sand. Okay. Well, I guess best way to tell would be to run over to the storage, wouldn't it? Oh, right. I put some things in this barrel. I mean, we definitely should... Okay, that's not spinning. Must be a missing shaft somewhere up here because that also isn't spinning. Oh, it's be right there, I think. By the look of it, yep, definitely. Do we have no, we don't. Okay. Well, we have sand. We shouldn't have any dirt. We have terracotta and we have clay. Okay. Why are we getting in gravel? Looks like that belt isn't spinning. Should also be a missing shaft just right in here somewhere. Yep, right there. Now we should have gravel in the storage. Yep. Okay, good. Final thing now is going to be supplying dirt into it, which should start all of this. And this isn't spinning, so we have to fix that too. Okay, imagine this on myself in here. If we drop 48 dirt into this, that should instantly start crafting coarse dirt, and we should see this fire soon. Uh-oh, that's an issue. Okay, dirt there. Right. Okay, let's give this a second try, throwing in 28 dirt instead. Yes. Oh, by the looks of it, it's working. Okay, wait, let's check the storage. I'm here in the mixer. We got dirt. And we have mud. Just change those to percent instead, and that's looking a lot better. I actually don't really know how you would want to set one of these up to make them look pretty, but I guess it looks fine. Maybe I kind of want to get the percentages like all over here. Maybe I could do that with like spaces and stuff. Ugh, that sounds really annoying though. Yeah, I'll figure it out. And of course, with the farms up and running, we can grab mud now, which we need for the paths. The new pathways are going to need a lot of rooted dirt, so I'm first of all going to need some bone meal. Then grab in one piece of rooted dirt from there. And if we just head on in here, I've got a little bit of rooted dirt in the ceiling now that we can just get moved here to the side to start creating a lot of hang roots. Popping back into the workshop, I've actually gone ahead and added a recipe through my own custom recipe mod pack, which lets you combine dirt and hanging roots in a mixer to create more rooted dirt. Because in my head, it's never really made sense why Mojang hasn't just added a recipe for rooted dirt. In this world and my Skyblock world, it's become especially helpful because I have no other access to it. So just wait for that to get mixed up. And how many? Oh, okay, we have 70 mushroom blocks. So let's grab a few brown mushrooms and some bone meal. Or heading down into my caves where I've got this lonely Yep, handle that with care for sure. With the second creeper scare of this episode down, let's actually gather up some brown mushroom blocks. Floating across the cove once again with the path materials in the back, stopping by the wheat field to harvest it as the new path needs a lot of packed mud. And with that crafted, getting to work stretching the path from the shepherds down past the sheep pasture around the cow one, decided on this little less straightforward path to make it a bit more interesting than one straight line from the shore. And just like over by the city, I decided to leave this path as a future stamp problem. Not today. But I definitely like this new path style a lot more than just the coarse dirt. Definitely something I think that we should implement across the island, as it just, well, it feels way better. Of course, there's a lot of terrain missing over here. This is very much flying. And of course, I want to build an entire village on this side of the shepherd's building. So that's gonna be just a little bit of terraforming. Should be fine though, right? Right? Yeah, it's also a future stat problem. As we've already done a ton today, we built a wool farm along with a shepherd's house and no longer have to worry about wool in the world. We solved our experience and bone meal shortage by building a dual skeleton grinder, but can't forget the biggest farm of today, generating a total of 6 different items, not to talk about how great the first city block came together. And I absolutely cannot wait to see the rest of the city come together. This first city block has me so excited for that. But with all of our 8 farms complete, that also finishes off this video. So thank you so very much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye bye.